have strong thoughts on weddings. I'm in the middle of planning one right now. Do you have any advice for me?
Who are you marrying?
His name is Trevor.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll have to just set up a meeting and I'll talk to him. Okay, so where's Trevor from?
He's from Florida.
What does Trevor do for a living?
He works in sports as well, covers football.
He does what?
He covers football as well.
Really? Well, I don't know. We'll keep a close eye on it, but whatever you and Trevor decide, I would kind of keep it on the down low, which you failed to do that. Trevor was probably planning to, but you didn't. So go ahead and don't say anything else about it, but as soon as the season's over, or even an off week, go elope. Trust me on that. Go elope. Because basically every female in the family is going to terrorize you guys until it's over. Once it's over, I mean, they'll be upset for a few days, but it'll be over. And then, you cruise along, have a happy marriage, have a happy life.
I'll pass along the message. Thanks, Coach. Congrats on the win.
Trevor, unless he's crazy, is totally on my side. And trust me on this. If Trevor doesn't have the sense to do that, tell him to call me because, he needs to do trust. I've told all my kids, I'll give you $10,000 extra if you elope. So far, they haven't done it, but I would, too.
I'll have him call you for sure.
Rest in peace, Mike Leach. Passed away Monday night due to complications related to a heart condition. He was 61 years old, and that was just many of the colorful quotes he's given us over the years. That's about marriage. There's another one about marriage where he was talking about his wife. He goes, well, what do you think, Mike? Would you want the red flowers or the blue flowers? He goes, well, get the blue flowers. She goes, well, you're just saying that because you want to make me happy. So he's like, there's a no-win situation. If I like the blue flowers, I argue with you about that. So let's get that one next time because that was hilarious as well. But Mike Leach passes away, one of the fun coaches in college football with the 4 wide receiver sets, the air raid system that all started down at Texas Tech.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mike Leach. I just smile when I hear his voice, and it's just really sad. My other favorite thing is I call it the over 55 club. They like to clear their throat into the microphone.
Right.
It's a Peter King special. Yeah. I was listening last night to the best of the game, and it was Lucas Alexander setting up the Damon Ratto interview with Peter King. And my favorite is Peter, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, he didn't do that.
No, but like when Ray asks a deadpan question out of nowhere, and then Peter's like, if Peter will cut him off and then clear his throat into the microphone, I'm like, how long have you been doing this, Peter? Yeah. You're just going to clear your throat into the mic. It's one of my only pet peeves when it comes to audio.
Well, speaking of Peter, here's what he had to say about Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy is totally unafraid of everything. He's unafraid of a good pass rush, which Tampa has. He's unafraid of the storylines, the plot lines headed into the game. He's unafraid of, obviously of playing Brady. And he has taken what Kyle Shanahan has educated him about, and he basically has made it so that I'm just out there playing football. And that's the thing. For whatever reason, maybe because it's college days, maybe because, he's worked so much with Shanahan and Garoppolo and Lance and all that, whatever, he's ready for this moment. And that's one of the reasons why now I don't think anything this year is out of the question for the Niners.
Wow. That's Peter King yesterday on Damon and Ratto. I'm Brock Purdy, and this is where I go, Shasky. I'm looking straight at Kyle Shanahan, and I'm giving him an applause. Not only do I believe this is his finest job as a head coach, he's lost 2 quarterbacks, 2 starters. I need to give him credit for what he's done with the 49ers. This guy, in 6 years now, and I know you got your jaw dropped, I'm telling you, Shanahan, you got me. You won me over. You got me. Jake York and company hit a freaking home run with this hire.
Grand slam.
The grand slam. It's been a no. Like, this team is built to contend year in and year out. They've become an NFC powerhouse. They have. They're undefeated in the division. They're on their way to possibly winning their second division title in 4 years. They made the NFC Championship game last year, running the football, being physical, sticking with the principles, solid defense. But I'm just thinking, I was really thinking about this last night. Another apology. I know my family. Another apology sheet is in order. Why do I have to apologize? I'm not the only one, damn it. Shanahan had this fan base believing that Nick Mullins could lead us to the promised land. He did. It's because of Shanahan. There's no other reason. It's because of Shanahan and his play designs. Jimmy Garoppolo, limited quarterback. We can all admit that. Had us sneaking Lombardis with Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance, they draft him. He only plays 13 college games. Well, we believe Trey Lance is the future because of Kyle Shanahan. We trust Kyle Shanahan. And now you look at Brock Purdy and the positions that Shanahan is putting him in and opening up the playbook. You know what? I didn't put Shanahan on no hot seat. I never said Shanahan was getting fired. Let's not start that. Wrong show, buddy. Shanahan and Lynch have done a masterful job. A masterful job. Through all the trials and tribulations, the roller coaster rides, the way they didn't panic during the the Deebo Samuel holdout in the offseason, they didn't panic. They said, we're just going to wait this out. We're going to wait this out. And they got it done. They make moves. We beg for a running back. Guess what? They go get a running back in Christian McCaffrey. Shanahan, it's his finest work, man. And you know what? I wouldn't want any other coach in the NFC other than Kyle Shanahan.
He's done a great job. I mean, look, people could say he hasn't won the big one. Everyone take a deep breath. It's really hard to win the big one in the NFL. All right? It just is. We all consider John Madden to be a legend of the game. Now, broadcasting obviously is part of it. The video game's part of it. But I'm talking about coach. Okay? It took him almost 10 years to get over the hump and win the one Super Bowl.
Yep.
All right? It's really hard. As great as Bill Walsh was, all right? He's one of the greats of all time. He won the 3, all right? We act like he won all 5.
Right.
And maybe he would have if he had stayed the coach, but he didn't. You know what I mean? Now, Belichick has skewed everything because Belichick has all the championships of recent memory. How many does Don Shula have, Bonte?
He's got 2.
Okay.
He's got 2. He lost 1 with the Baltimore Colts to the New York Jets. He won 2 in the 70s, but he couldn't win 1 after that.
It's hard. We all admit Shula's pretty great. You ask anybody from South Florida who's a little older, and Shula's
love Shula.
Is a legend, all right?
But he hadn't won one for like 20-plus years down in South Beach.
That's what I'm saying. So,
lost a couple Super Bowls.
You know, like, I just keep going back to Shanahan and what he's built right now, and I don't judge you by what you inherit or what you go through. I judge you by the adversity, right? So, for example, he took over a dumpster fire. This team was as low as they possibly could have been in terms of fan approval, in terms of roster construction. Like, if we were ranking rosters in the NFL, at the time, it was them and the Browns as the worst 2 teams in the NFL. Even the Jets looked at the Niners like, yeah, our roster's better than yours.
Our roster's better.
Right? And then think about all the acquisitions that you're naming. A lot of them didn't actually go that well. Dee Ford, for as good as he was when he was on the field, it's kind of a bad
But
deal.
you know what?
They overcame it.
But you know what? And that's what good organizations do.
That's what I'm saying.
The Patriots have whiffed on free agent after free agent. They still stayed the course. I mean, Baltimore's whiffed. They still stayed the course, and they're in the hunt.
Belichick, I'm glad you referenced him. We all agree. Mac Jones pretty mediocre.
Yeah,
okay?
No doubt.
He's got Joe Judge and a defensive line coach running his offense. He might win 10 games.
And they're right now, if the playoffs started, they'd be in it.
And it's impressive, the job that he's done. So I'm looking at the 49ers, and I guess where I'm going at with all this is, as great as they've done, a lot of things have gone wrong. Their starting quarterback can't stay healthy. Mm-hmm. Whether you think he's good, great, mediocre, etc., their starting quarterback cannot stay healthy, whether it's been Jimmy, Trey, whomever, all right? And yet, here they are, about to win 10 games.
10 games.
In a division where going into it, you can make an argument the Niners were the 3rd best team, given off the rosters and everything that's going on.
You said they may have had the 3rd best quarterback.
Which is a fair point of view.
And now you lose Trey Lance, who, by the way, people make it seem like Trey Lance is horrible this year. In 5 quarters of play, all right, I get it. They scored 13 points in 5 quarters. We all throw away the Chicago game because it was a monsoon, in the 4th quarter especially. Up until that point, 10-0 game, and then the defense breaks out, gives up a big play to Dante Pettis. Trey Lance didn't fumble on the first possession of the season when they were inside the 20-yard line. He didn't give up a sack on the second possession. So this whole thing about Trey Lance, just quick aside.
I know.
Here's
what I'd like to do on our show.
Rewriting history.
No, I agree. I think this is what we should do on our show is instead of going back and re-adjudicating whether Trey is good, bad, what he did, like we're just going to pause all of our Trey opinions until we see him on the field again. It's that simple. I think we just pause everything. Everybody just put it in carbonite like you're Han Solo. You don't get that reference, but that's okay.
No, it's Star Wars.
And we'll just see when he gets defrosted if it can be any good or not.
Right.
We don't know. We'll
he
find
wouldn't
out.
play bad. A lot of people make it out like he played bad. We forget the Seattle game when he did get hurt. First possession, they get a field goal. Second possession, they were inside the 15-yard line.
Bonte, people are ready to praise or crush someone off of a very small sample size. If you asked me a year ago, is Jalen Hurts any good? I'm like, he's probably not that good.
Right.
They're probably going to have to get a quarterback. Yep. A year later, I look like an idiot, you know? So I just raised my hand like, I was wrong about that. Tua didn't look like an NFL quarterback last year. Now they're sliding right now. He looks a hell of a lot better this year.
No doubt.
They're sliding, but whatever.
But what's crazy is Brock Purdy shines out. Niners win their 6th straight game.
He looked great.
McCaffrey's balling. The defense has given up 14 second-half points over the last 6 games, and yet we want to crush Jimmy or Trey. Let's not do that.
No, we're Niners
Instead,
fans.
let's celebrate what we're seeing here. And what we're seeing is a masterful job by Kyle Shanahan and a masterful job by John Lynch upstairs alongside Adam Peters for making sure that they're in a position to compete with the big boys in the NFL.
They have built a powerhouse. That's no doubt about it. The brand is back in terms of the 49er brand, just nationally, locally. And then you look at the roster. Okay, things can change quickly because I said this during the Harbaugh era. But Bonte, doesn't it feel like Fred Warner feels like he's got at least a good couple years. Now, injuries, you never can predict, but boy, he looks good. Dre Greenlaw's under contract. Boy, he looks good. Now they're gonna ink up Nick Bosa. They got franchise tag in their back pocket, but it feels like they've budgeted to pay him. He ain't going nowhere. Okay, Debo's already got the long-term extension.
And here's the other thing.
Kittle too.
I've been hearing maybe they should move off of Debo. Why would you move a playmaker? You want to add playmakers. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. They're signing T.Y. Hilton. Why? Because they need a playmaker. Buffalo Bills signing Cole Beasley because they feel like they need another playmaker. Kansas City, why are they in a mix on all these playmakers? Because they feel like they need a playmaker.
But the other part of this is that they've built the roster in a way they got 2 guards making no money. Right? Like, as much as I wanted to go out and spend on the middle of the offensive line in free agency, you look up and you're like, both those guys are making what? Think of what center guard is costing the 49ers right now.
Yep.
All right. Now you look around the rest of the league. You can afford to pay on skill positions if you're getting the output of Banks, the 2nd-round pick, which is now looks like a great pick, and Burford, who I know he's hurt right now, but he's been really, really good. And Brendel, you're paying them pennies on the dollar.
And the quarterback position. Some people may think, man, it may be a bad thing if you have Brock Purdy and Trey Lance at camp. My thing is this. I think it's an awesome situation for the 49ers. One, we know Purdy can get you through a game or two. We know that at least. We'll see what happens in the future.
Bonte, at minimum, we don't know what he'll be.
We don't know what he'll be. But he got thrown into the fire. He got thrown into the fire against Miami, and they blitzed the hell out of him every single down, and he won that game. He helped you win that game. And then you see what happened against Brady and the Buccaneers. Purdy looked like he was the better quarterback on the field. So you got Purdy where you're basically, I'm looking at what is his contract? I'm going to pull that up in a second.
Well, he's a 7th-round pick, so it's probably $600,000 a year the next couple years.
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
And then you have Trey Lance, who's on a rookie deal. So the quarterback spot, you're not pumping any money into it.
Exactly.
And you still got center guard, where they're making no money. If you're going to need a new right tackle, you'll probably draft one or sign one. It's all good. You are in a great position if you're the 49ers right now, even at the quarterback spot. It's a good thing to have Purdy and Trey Lance. How much is Purdy making?
He's making $785,000 this year, $870,000 next year, $985,000 the year after that, and then in 2025 he's set to make $1.1 million.
Wow. It's a great deal.
So you're looking at your quarterback room basically making less than $10 million. Again, we don't know what's going to happen with Jimmy. I'm never going to say never because who knows?
Who knows?
It feels like he's out the door.
Go get your money, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I'll clap him on the way out in terms of I have appreciation.
He's a good 49er,
He salvaged this situation. But if you do roll with just Trey and Purdy moving forward, right? And may the best man win. Who cares? Who cares who? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
may the best man win. You're paying $10 million or less for your quarterback. Exactly. Look around just this division alone. Stafford got a big extension.
Yep.
Geno's making more than that. And then you got Kyler Murray, who just got $280 million that's coming off an ACL injury.
You're in a good spot if you're the 49ers.
That's what I'm saying.
It's to Shanahan and Lynch, and they deserve their
built
flowers.
a
this morning.
beautiful-
Instead of wasting our time on Farhan, disrespecting the city, and failing to sign free agents, we should be looking at Bob Myers, Joe Lacob, the Golden State Warriors, and Shanahan and Lynch, saying, you know what? That's how you build championship rosters.
I was worried they might lose this locker room. I'm like, man, Jimmy Ward's
a couple times.
I know, Jimmy Ward. Like, forget the Jimmy Garoppolo aspect, because that's obvious. The quarterback aspect is obvious. Jimmy Ward's out of position. He's not happy. He's in a free agent year. Have they gotten the best out of Jimmy Ward this year?
Absolutely.
How about Gibson, this random safety?
Hey, look, Jaquaski Tart was basically begging for a job, saying, I need money. And early on, we were like, maybe you need to bring Tart back.
Right?
Well, Hufanga, 3 weeks into the season, said, Tart who? We basically all said, Tart who? By the way, the segment is presented by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm. Let me get that in, Chasky. Helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. Also, you are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM, and HG1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And don't forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. This team endured Armstead and Kinlaw being out. Kinlaw still hasn't come back. Javon Kinlaw, that is a first-round pick.
I know.
That may not work out, but you know what? They haven't skipped a beat. You didn't even notice the loss of Armstead and Javon Kinlaw.
And everybody's losing their minds over the last 24 hours because of the report that D'Amico Ryans is going to leave. One of the things I've told you all year, I have 100% confidence in Kyle Shanahan to find the next guy. Because he did it with Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh was a no one. Yeah. Nobody knew who Robert Saleh was. First-time coordinator.
After 2 years, a lot of people want a Saleh gone.
I was one of them. I admit it. And they looked terrible, all right? But then he obviously got better, and the roster got better, and he looked phenomenal.
We lost him, and
I thought it was a big loss.
It was a big loss. And then next thing you know, D'Amico Ryans, halfway through the season, you're like, damn, they really missed Saleh. By the end of the year, we're saying, damn, D'Amico, don't go. Okay. Please don't take the Minnesota job.
Now, that's the defensive side of the ball. And I believe they'll find the next guy, because that's how I do think Kyle has a really good eye, which I think is one of the number one attributes, not of Belichick, of Bill Walsh. This is what I think makes Bill Walsh so great. He built brilliant staffs. You can go right down the tree and look at the old
Ray
coaching
Rhodes,
tree.
Mike Holmgren,
I mean, come on.
Seifert.
It speaks for itself, right? But that's what Shanahan's done. Then I look at offensive side of the ball. They have lost a lot on the offensive side of the ball.
Mike McDaniel.
Why do I feel like this might be their best offensive team?
And you got Anthony Lynn smiling up and down the sideline again.
Brian Griese? I told you when I went to training camp, I loved the Brian Griese hire. Look what he's done. Have you gotten, let me ask, forget Trey for a second, because we only saw so little.
Right.
It might have been the best version of Jimmy.
Yep.
Okay, then you're doing this with a seventh-round pick quarterback in Brock Purdy. Brian Griese was such a great hire.
It was an underrated hire coming out of the booth. You're like, huh. But you think about what the Niners have done, and this is why York gets flowers.
Yeah.
Shanahan, you want John Lynch? You want who?
Out of the booth as well.
Lynch? What?
With no experience.
Comes out of the booth. And now all of a sudden he's making deals. And that's the thing with the Niners. They've made home run. 2019, they see, oh, man, we need a wide receiver. Let's go get Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
It's not a big-time major move.
No, but it helped them.
It helped them get to the Super Bowl. All right, D Ford, we need a pass rusher before 2019. Let's go get D Ford. Didn't work out, but I get the premise.
Yeah.
I get it. Quan Alexander, you know what? He got hurt. He's not playing well.
He was good,
Drake Greenlaw, he was a good 49er.
He was a good Niner.
He was a good 49er. Drake Greenlaw's playing good football. You know what? Hey, let's trade Quan Alexander and get something for him. A good move for the 49ers. We need a left tackle. Staley retired. Well, let's call Washington. Let's go steal Trent Williams from them. Now you got one of the premier left tackles in all of football. And then this year, we need a home run hitter. We need some sizzle. People are on the Debo running game. They're on the jet sweeps. Yeah. We can't fool anybody with him in the backfield. We need another home run hitter. What's Carolina doing with Christian McCaffrey? Oh, you want a second, third, fourth round pick? You want a fifth round pick as well in the future, 2024? Here you go. Well, they've made big boy moves, Shasky.
And not all of them have been perfect. But they've been...
They swing.
But
they swing
if we were doing plus minus, as everybody loves plus minus, he's so in the plus.
Right.
Like the DeForest Buckner trade, which and I'll bring it up every now, is a bad trade. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's not one of their finest
It hasn't
moves.
worked out.
But here's what I would say. They've overcome it. And it's one of the negative ones. Find me a couple others. Like, I'm serious. Find me a couple, and you can say, Joe, they botched the quarterback situation. Well, have they? Because they're on the precipice of
winning another division title
again. Even though that you say that they've botched it. Okay,
second in 4 years.
I mean, look around the league. There are some horrible quarterback situations.
Right.
All right. If I put Jimmy Garoppolo on the Carolina Panthers, does anyone think that the Carolina Panthers, and I'm not trying to diminish Jimmy, I'm trying to elevate
You
Shanahan.
need talent around you. You need coaching around you.
But most people think if I put Josh Allen on Carolina, they'd be infinitely better.
Right.
Why are we not extending the love to Shanahan that we should? Debo goes down in the game the other day, and my DMs are flooded with people furious at Shanahan. I'm like, guys, you don't get to celebrate the first touchdown that Debo had on a running play.
Right.
And then criticize them if that's the way they're going to play later in the game.
It's football. People are going to get hurt.
Accidents happen.
It's football. Let's take a call real quick. RJ Fairfield, been on hold for a while. Thanks for the patience, RJ. What's happening? You're on the roast.
What's up? Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Vontae, Shasky, good morning. Hey, I just want to get this out, man. I was listening to Steiny and Guru yesterday, and what they said was, well, here's what I see. Brock Purdy, can we agree that these last two games, I've seen more from him than I've seen all year from Garoppolo and Lance, right?
Like, well, it's two really good games. That's what I would say. Two really good games.
But you got to admit, RJ, I'm not trying to make an excuse for Trey Lance. We all said, fans, host, the weather conditions in Chicago really changed that game plan up. And we saw him for half a quarter against Seattle. Half a quarter.
But what I'm saying is that, look at the playbook, guys. Everything's been open. This opened up now. The playbook wasn't opened up for Lance. It wasn't opened up for Garoppolo.
I think.
Look at that, both two limited QBs. But now that Brock, I think. Well, what I'm saying is, if even the players are more confident in this QB than the Lance and Garoppolo. Look at what
you know what's funny?
Look at what Nick Bosa said.
I hear you, RJ. We got to run. Here's the one thing I'll say about that. Is the playbook opened up, or does Purdy just see it better than Jimmy? Because a lot of plays have been open. Every game, we pinpoint stuff, and we're like, well, Jimmy should have hit this guy. Jimmy could have hit that guy. And we get crushed for saying that, saying, hey, just be satisfied with the win. Remember the Monday night game against the Rams? And I was like, Jimmy missed a lot of guys in that game. Even though they won, Jimmy missed a lot of guys.
Just what I don't want to do is sit here and argue about this guy stinks and this guy's like, my team has a chance to beat Seattle in Seattle and win the NFC West. Yep. I don't want to spend energy saying whether Jimmy's good, bad, great, mediocre, or that Purdy's the next coming of Christ.
Yep.
Just enjoy the moment. Let's see where this inner tube takes us.
And we got a big time game Thursday. He may not even play Thursday. He's day to day right now.
Here's what I would say.
The oblique injury.
Here's what I say. I believe in Shanahan so much. No matter who's under center, they got a great shot.
They got a shot.
That's all. That's where I'm standing.
Not only because I believe in Shanahan, I also believe in the defense. But Shanahan, he deserves his flowers this morning. Lynch deserves their flowers. They put together a consistent, sustainable powerhouse roster in the NFC. And teams, everybody nationally say, we don't want to play the 49ers. That's a testament to Shanahan and Lynch and the 49ers. Let's break real quick, Chesky. Hold that thought.
Yeah, I want to talk about, quote-unquote, messing up the QB position.